Hello and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny Show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make, firm, establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I love working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I'll introduce you to my wonderful guest, Empress Sparkle. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both of us to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy. And I'm a spiritual guide and healer, passionate about helping you reconnect with your divine presence and step into your purpose. Now, through angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, guided meditations, and exploring past and future lives, I support you in healing your past and creating a soul-aligned future. Now, my journey has taught me that with the right tools and guidance, we can all connect with our higher selves, embrace transformation, and live a life full of abundance and fulfillment. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or an angel oracle card, reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Empress Sparkle, about energies and how they can affect you. Now, as a gifted clairvoyant and energy healer, Empress Sparkle has always felt deeply connected to the unseen. As she grew older, she came to understand it was energy, her own and others, that she could feel so clearly. Empress now supports others through energy healing and tarot, helping them understand the impact of energetic attachments and emotional weight, such as depression, and how to find healing from within. Now, Empress Sparkle brings a grounded and honest perspective to spiritual growth, showing others how to embrace the darker parts of themselves with compassion and strength. Because peace comes not just from light, but from loving every part of who we are. So without further delay, hello, Empress, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Rae?
I'm very well. I'm so looking forward to this conversation.
I know.
I know, but before we do get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind everyone watching that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Empress and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy and say hello. So Empress, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how the choices we make and the people around us can influence our energy and how they can impact on our emotions, well-being and spiritual path?
Of course. So I was a strict Christian when I was younger, very strict, up to 12. My cousin passed away at 12 days old. So I went on a bit of a spiral, not understanding why someone so young would be taken away. So I went onto a little bit of a spiral. At 14, I was introduced to Wicca. And I sort of went on the path of Wicca till I was about 18. And then I sort of found my own path. I know this sounds strange, but sometimes you need to find this to actually understand what's going on inside you, as well as to understand our own gifts. Because I've been taught from young to ignore my spiritual gifts, to ignore my natural feelings, and to ignore the pull towards it. And this was a very, very difficult sort of path in some sense, very difficult path. And this is why I want to help others, because then when I was about 20 to about 25, I went into a deep depression stage through stuff that had happened in my childhood, as well as the fat stuff that was happening in my adulthood. And one of the things for me during that time was a lady when I was about 25. She randomly just walked up to me and we went to a coffee shop for a coffee and said, I want to teach you how to look after your energy. And this lady saved me. I'm not going to lie. She saved me, teaching me about how to control my energy, my own energy, and also understanding energies around me. So this is something that really affected me during depression and stuff like that people don't seem to understand, is that we have like these vampire suckers around us that want our good energy. We also have where when we've been through traumatic times, sometimes we can get the shadow men. For me, I call them dark entities. They can attach to us during this dark period of time that we're going through. So this is one thing that I sort of wanted to bring out there and say to people, it's not always depression. And if it is just depression, we can actually get over it by looking at the light within and accepting the darkness that we've been told not to accept. Because by society rules, we are told that it's not okay. We're told that these internal feelings that we have, we were discussing it actually earlier, like crying all the time. I am a crier. If I'm sitting there and I'm watching something, I'm going to cry to it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's one of them things. We people that are full of energy are criers, and I think when doctors say to you, "Are you a cry? Do you cry all the time?" I think it needs to be more specific. Like, are you sat there and someone said something to you and that's triggered you and caused you to cry, or are you just crying randomly because you've actually watched something on the TV or certain songs come on and it's made you, oh, as we all do. And I think this is one of the things that for me, I find now with people that they seem to accept this. They seem to accept that it's not okay to show these emotions, that it's not okay to show these. And I think that's in a way our energy is showing us actually you're unbalanced. Like, not with the crying all the time thing, because we're empathizing with whatever we're watching, whatever we're hearing, we're empathizing with it. But sometimes I think they're saying, look, you're unbalanced, you need to sort out this balancing issue. And I say to people, you met me 10 years ago, you won't recognize me. And people sit there going, no, there's no way. And I'm like, you would not recognize me. Like, I was not white energied. I was giving out negative energy myself, because I was stuck in this dark place. And I learned to love that dark place. I learned to love who I was. And that is one of the important things. And that's sort of what I want to get out there massively. I'm getting a little bit emotional with that one, sorry. Passionate. It's one of the hardest things I think to overcome. And I find a lot of people are in denial about where they are mentally. A lot of people are in denial. They are struggling to overcome this. They're struggling to see the truth within themselves. I find this a lot when I first start going on journeys with people. I said earlier to the girls, which I have on my subscription, I said to them, I may sound like a CUNT sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, sorry for the word. That's why I spell it out. But I may seem that way because to me, sometimes with what I do, we need to get that darkness. We need you to okay with that darkness. The fact that you couldn't get out of bed one day, that's okay. Your body needed that rest. Your mind needed that rest. Do you know what? When you have a day and you need to rest like that, meditate. Meditate it out. Push that energy away. And it's one of the things that, for me, I find a lot of people are too quick to go for the drugs.
Oh God, yes.
Are too quick. But that is because now that's the way we've been taught. And I was one of them people. I spent 10 years on antidepressants, and I was one of them people. And to be honest, they also interfere with your gift, and they also interfere the frequency that you're giving out to people massively, because they change our chemical imbalance. So it's like all of a sudden this natural fluctuation that we're meant to be feeling has totally gone. And I think this is one of the things that I'm sort of trying to get out to people. Like, we don't have to mess with ourselves. We don't have to. There's actually the universe. I'm going to call it universe. For me, it's the gods and goddesses. They've actually gave us guidance how to be okay, how to move forward from things. But we've seemed to have really lost that connection with that. Absolutely massively lost that connection.
Yeah, I think we have, but I also have, can see that it's coming back as well. The more of us that are talking and coming out now with everything that we do, I'm finding that more people are kind of like more open about it now, and there are people who go, actually, I don't really want to be on these drugs. I want to look at the alternatives that there might possibly be to it to get my body back into a natural into a natural balance. And oh, hello, Emma. Good to see you here.
Hello, gorgeous. Beautiful Emma, bless her heart. So she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She's one of my beautiful sparklers, bless her. Uh, but this is it. There's a lot of people now coming out of the cupboard. I was in the cupboard, over 20 years. I was in the cupboard. I really struggled with being honest with people about who I was, where I was, and stuff like that. I really struggled with it. And one of the reasons that I did really struggle with it is because of society rules. So the way that they saw it, the way that life was seen, was very much under these strict rules. So I wasn't allowed to see spirits. This wasn't normal. It wasn't okay. And I remember trying to talk to people with my daughter when I first had my daughter, saying she's seeing them as well. She's seeing them as well, but her gift is 1,000 times stronger than mine. So she was getting all sorts of entities coming into her. So I was trying to find someone to say, how do I protect her? How
Yeah,
do I protect her? How do I protect her? And I remember doctors basically telling me then I was
yeah,
basically cuckoo. And it was like, what do I do? How do I go forward with this? How do I be okay with this? Um, it was very, very difficult. I'm not going to lie, it was very, very difficult during that time. And this is when the lady, she was 5, 6 by the time the lady come into me to speak to me about energies. And that really helped me to teach her about her energies. I did bind her when she was about 3. I did bind her to stop her seeing them. And I said,
mm,
when she's ready to see them again, I'll unbind her. And she was like, I'm not ready yet. Until literally about 6 months ago, she went, I'm ready again, mum.
wow.
And I was like, right, are you sure? You're positive? And stuff like that. Hey, ladies.
Yes, we have got Emma Bullock here. We've got Stacey Lou, and we've got Sean Smith. Hello.
Yes, hello. And I think that's one of the things for me is my children actually taught me a lot about energies as well, which is something I've said to you before. They taught me so much more about energies than what even I knew and what even this lady taught me. Um, when you actually sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but when you sort of like start to go down this path, you actually realize how much your children naturally know this path if we don't stop them going on it. They naturally know it. They naturally will be able to say to you, Mummy, don't go near that person, and pull you away. If my kids say to me, Mummy, I don't want them near me, I'm like, right, okay, clear off.
Yeah,
Like, there's something wrong with you. And I think that's one of the things that for me is really key, sort of learning from them as well. Because obviously they're pure white. When they come into this, I don't, plane, I want to call it in some ways.
human existence.
Yeah, best way to explain it. When they come here, they are pure white. They're pure energy still, given from, for me, the gods and goddesses, and I know for yourself, it's the divine. And that is the way they are. And yeah, they haven't been spoilt yet.
Yeah. And I think also that, again, more and more, adults are actually understanding that, and they're allowing their children to actually be developing those gifts. They're not saying, oh, you're making up that imaginary friend that you're talking to. Oh, you don't, don't have the, why you feel, why are you feeling that? You shouldn't be feeling that. And I think a lot more parents now, especially that I come across, are more open to their children being that way gifted, seeing spirits, talking to angels, imaginary friends, and not going, nope, you shouldn't. It's your it's your imagination. Don't go there.
Yeah, I do find that a lot more now with the girls growing up. I found that a bit because I was brought up by my grandparents. So I did find that a bit strange when I first started taking my children to school. Obviously, they ended up home educated because they just couldn't get on with the energies within the schools. But I found that with them, they literally like their friends would tell them about ghost stories, and I would wait for the parent to come back to me and have a go at me like that's what happened when I was younger. So I would be waiting for it, like really anxious, like, oh, oh, don't, please don't shout at me. But they wouldn't. They'd be like, oh, they've told a really good story. And I'll be like, oh, brilliant. Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah, and Emma says, yeah, it makes a lot of sense with her little man.
Yeah. Oh, I know it does, sweet. I know it. And this is one of the things for me that I think a lot of people don't realize. It does make a lot more sense once we start talking about it and stuff like that and start opening up a bit more about it. It's just such a shame it's for 400-500 years we weren't allowed to.
Yeah, yeah, but in a way, it's a shame. But then you kind of like have to go, okay, but what was the reason for it? What did we have to learn from it? So we could move forward to get to where we are today. So, it's kind of like when you look back at the Inquisition, the witch trials, and all that persecution over the years. It's kind of like you have to let it go and
Yes.
see it from that higher perspective. Okay, there was a reason why these things happened. Right
Yes.
or wrong, there was a reason, because that has an effect on how we have evolved, how we have grown, and what choices we have made.
Completely agree. Because I love that what you've just said, because it's a bit like talking about that with the energies from it. We can still feel the energies from it because there is still some people in that mindset. Yes, and we can. And I think that's what makes it a little bit harder sort of to let go for some people, is that. But at the same time, we need to understand that the witch trials came from fear. So we need to respect and understand that they came from fear because, if I remember rightly, it was mainly Scottish witches at the time from Henry VII down that were getting the blame for a lot of things. And then James I just took it to, yeah, way overboard. And it came from fear. It came from fear of not understanding actually what we do, not actually having a conversation with us. But then if we look at, oh, what is her name? It's on the tip of the tongue. Shipton, Mother Shipton.
Mother Shipton, yeah.
Yeah, we look at her. She was welcomed into King Henry VIII's court. She was welcomed. Some of his court actually used to go and see her and stuff like that. So that just shows how her energy, they respected it. They actually understood her energy. And that's a lot about what the energy is that you're giving out. They knew she meant no harm. She was actually more about loving, caring, trying to protect people. And I think that's the important thing. Whereas if you're very closed up, very sort of like, I don't know what the word is. It's just slipped my mind. But you're very, very sort of closed up, very, very much like, this is mine. I'm not going to share it. That makes people afraid. And I think this is where it's good now that we are all coming out and discussing it, because hopefully this will make people less afraid of actually coming down these paths that we do and seeing what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it is getting so much, it's so much better now, and people are more open and talking about it. I've never been afraid of talking about any of this stuff, but I have worked with clients, and I know people that it's taken them a long time to even talk about it. I remember talking about angels when I was in an office job once. I talk about angels, unicorns, you name it, and I could see my boss sort of like going, God, there she goes again, whatever. But the Secret Santa one Christmas, I was given a small unicorn. Toy unicorn, and he was really proud because obviously Secret Santa, obviously you don't say who the gift is from, but he was very proud to go, I got you a unicorn, and then he thought it was a big joke, but it was like, actually what I'd been saying has obviously got into your subconscious, because that was the biggest compliment you could actually give.
Exactly, exactly. This is the thing. So when people say to me, "Oh, you've got such a lovely energy," I'm like, "Thank you. I've worked hard on this." And they're like, "What?" Yeah. It is so strange the way people seem to think that we're no longer at that point that we're going to take insults at it. We're no longer at that point where it can be an insult. And that's the work we've done, Rae. And we should be proud of that. Let's be honest. We should be very proud of that. Because it's not easy. This is what I was saying earlier. This is a very difficult path, especially when you've come from it from my sort of background, where
Mm.
you're not allowed to talk about it, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and you've got childhood trauma. It's sort of like a very, very hard way to come around, if you know what I mean. And that's why I love when we did the chat that's coming out Thursday, by the way, guys. I forgot to tell you that it's coming out Thursday.
Woo!
um, so the chat that we did that's coming out Thursday, when we did that, and you were saying about the work that you've done with the people you've worked with, I was so amazed, because I was like, oh my goodness, and you were talking about the fact of mermaids and unicorns. And I just love as well the way this energy comes to us the way we need to see it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, it comes to us the way that we need it at that time. And I just love that. I don't know why.
But yeah, no, it is. Yeah, we all see we all see energy, differently. So, you know, if there are people watching that are going, okay, yeah, this sounds great, this sounds really good, but I'm living with someone, my family aren't really into this, uh, you know, how does how can I change their energy, or you know, how do I fit in with them, or how can I express myself? You know, how would you suggest they go about it?
So for me is first clean your energy. So the first thing you need to do is clean your energy. This can take anything from 6 months to a year. So it depends who if you're working with someone or you're not, is the way I'm going to word that. If you're working with someone, it can actually take even less than 6 months. But it does very much depend on how you're doing this working. While you're working with this person or you're working on your own, what hopefully you will soon learn is actually how to put up what's called a protection barrier. I don't know whether you use these as well.
Mm.
So basically what you do is, when you're in a negative person or a vampire sucker's area, is you just sort of close your eyes and you imagine your white light just surrounding you. And that's your protection. And you sort of like, some people will tell me sometimes when I do put that up, they'll go, oh, you've gone really quiet. And it's like, because I'm concentrating on making sure that stays up, because I do not want to let that down. Especially because that is the first thing they're going to want to take. I've put my white energy out there now. It is out to protect me, but they're going to want to take this. They're going to want to turn it dark. So it's sort of like you have to concentrate. The next thing is when you've been round them, do at least half an hour meditation afterwards. Don't go straight to bed, because then you can process your thoughts through dreams, your fears through dreams. There's a lot of things that when we're around these black energies that make us feel heavy, that can actually really, really kill us, sort of, if we carry on going to sleep on them or anything like that. So make sure you are meditating. I sort of say half an hour, but 15 minutes to do. As long as you sort of sit there, you don't have to clear your mind. I don't know why I always say that in meditating. You don't have to fully clear your mind. But as long as you sort of sit there, rest your whole body. And I always do say, bring your white energy up when you're doing this. I do have a technique where I've actually got a video on my YouTube of it, where I breathe out the dark energy, surround it by white light, and push it away. And that's me getting rid of any of their negative energy. Because even though I've put up that protection bubble, there may still be things that they've said that's managed to put negativity in me, or there may be actions they did, like maybe a secret dirty look, or I know it sounds strange, but they may have put their hands somewhere that's really frustrated me. I'm trying to keep it sort of polite, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure that energy is gone, because otherwise that will stay with you, quite badly stay with you. And that is one thing you don't want, is that energy to stay there and be put there. Because if that energy stays there and puts there, you will actually be able to that will just muster up, and that will come. So I believe in white, grey and black energy. So that will actually become black energy if you actually allow it to fester too much. It'll go to grey. So this is one of the important things that we need to sort of do when we're around them energies. The other thing is, if I'm honest, and I do apologize, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. I think one of my dogs has just decided to have zoomies up and downstairs, so I do apologize.
That's animals for you.
So basically, one of the important things as well for me personally is, as well as meditation, is getting grounded. So this is another thing. So for everyone, grounding is different. So sometimes I may do Reiki on myself, or I may actually go to one of my Reiki ladies, or I will also do meditation. So because we live in a town, it's very hard to get out and about to the countryside, which is one of the worst things I ever did, was move to a town. So what I do to be able to get grounded is I actually sort of grow a tail. I know this sounds really weird, right? But out of my white energy, while I'm meditating, I actually grow a tail and put it down into gear and sort of ground myself that way. So I reconnect with her that way. And then I'll connect with Zeus through my third eye. And that will help me ground again. The other thing is, before you go to bed, if you've been to somewhere and it's really stressful, get in a bath. Get in a bath.
Yeah. And we've got, so Emma says, yeah, exactly. Quite a lot of people don't believe when I'm talking about stuff. They'll really think we're doolally. So that's obviously the conversation when we're talking earlier. Hi, Eric. Good to see you here.
Hi.
But it's also the fact when you start changing your energy as well, it has a knock-on effect on the people around you, which is why sometimes, relationships fall apart or whatever, because when you're raising your energy, it'll either raise the other people's energy with you, or they'll go, actually, that's not the energy I need now?
Yeah, so I'm hoping, I know she's watching, so I'm hoping one of my ladies won't mind me talking about this. But this is one of the things. So when I went through this, I didn't recognize it. I hold my hands up. I didn't recognize when the cutting off with people started. She's now going through it, and she's been messaging me saying, people are being really funny, like really funny. Some of them are either just leaving me, or some of them are, I'm now recognizing controlling behaviors. And I'm like, you're healing.
Yeah.
You're changing your energy. You're recognizing your worth. You're recognizing to love yourself. You are healing. And for me, that is one of the best messages you can get, because you're like, yes, yes. As soon as they start recognizing these little things, it is important to change our own energy, to make sure that people can see we are good, but we're not going to be messed with.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And I love the way that kind of like works out with everything we do, And a great example is that for anyone watching who's going, yeah, that sounds really great, but I'm not sure that's ever happened. You think about it, you're in a room, everyone's happy and jolly, and then somebody walks in and the whole atmosphere just goes flat. Or it's sort of like quite boring, and then someone comes in and then it just lifts again, because some people just have so much energy that it affects everyone around them.
Yes. And this is one thing that, when I was going through my depression, before I learned how to control my own energy and look after my own energy and love myself, this is one thing that I noticed. I would walk in a room, I stopped getting invites, and I was like, what is going on? Why have I stopped getting invites? I was the lover's soul of the party. Everyone loved being around me, but I was so negative and I was giving out so much negative energy. People didn't want to be around me. They didn't want to know me, because as soon as I walked in the room, I was that person that caused the energy to go
Yeah.
and just drop. And now I'm the complete opposite, where people are like, oh, have you spoke to Empress today? Oh my goodness, she's doing awesome, and stuff like that. And this is the thing. It's really, really quite a hard sort of thing to sometimes even recognize that you're actually in as well. That you're that person, but sometimes it's sort of like really good. It's like, I didn't recognize it, I admit that. I struggled for years being the person that wasn't getting the invites and stuff. And it was myself. And I can now, if my family end up here seeing this, they're going to go, she admitted it.
But that's the thing, when I think when we can admit things, that's so freeing.
Yes. And I think that's one thing, that actually learning how to control your energy is learning how to admit things. Because a lot of people are very much in denial with themselves. They are very in denial with what's going on in their life, the actions that they've taken. They're very much in denial with it. So it's like, it is easier to blame others than what it is to actually look at yourself and go, actually, how can I change this? How can I change this? How can my energy change this? How am I affecting this? And I hold my hands up. Usually for myself, I'd go into a real deep meditation when I'm having one of them moments. And I will call in spirit guides, any help actually. I'll be like, oh, can I actually, can I
Yeah,
have
just
as many?
come in.
Come in, please help me. I've messed up. I need you all. And that's because of my energy changing. They'll be like, right, okay. They'll either show that I've got, while I'm meditating, all of a sudden I'll get like a bit of it's a real strange feeling. So while I'm meditating, if I've got grey in my energy, it feels cold. in that area, like stone cold, as if a spirit's put their hand on that area. So I'm like, oh, I'm not grounded. Oh, this explains. Oh, get myself sorted.
Yeah. And another thing I think also that people do, although before I get into that, let's just see what we've got. It says, I've been told I'm the bubbly one.
She is very bubbly, bless her.
Yeah, I know it says 100%. Once you admit it, a lot of change can happen. But the other thing that is when people ask you, "Hello, how are you?" We automatically go to, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm great." When really, if we were, we're not feeling great that day, then admit you're not feeling that great.
Yeah, see, now this is a thing that I found with my energy change. That was really odd because I was very much like, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm great. But when my energy changed, and it changed a heck of a lot, it was quite a shock for me. I'm not going to lie, it was very, very shocking. Was one of my responses when people said to me, "Oh, how are you doing today, Amy? Empress, how are you doing today, Empress?" They were like, I was like, actually, I'm not doing too great. And they'd look at me like, did she just say that? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing too great. I'm not quite sure whether it's the weather, what it is, but I'm not doing too great. And I'm not sure why. And it was really, really strange for me at first to actually be able to say to someone, I'm not doing good. And I think it's an important part of healing. One of the most important parts, to be honest, of healing is that we can look at the days that we are having really rubbish days, that we are on our bottoms, that we can't see any way up, that we can actually sit there and go, right, okay, I'm not doing good. I can admit this to others. I can admit this to myself. Where do I go? How do I change this? Who do I need? And I think that's another thing when you actually start loving yourself as well. You figure out who you need, not who you want,
Yeah.
but who you need. And there's a massive difference in between who you need and who you want, because who you need matches your energy, and who you want is usually the person that's going to destroy your energy. I know that sounds awful, and I'm sorry if anyone's offended by that. Because we know what us girls are like with our crushes.
Oh yes, definitely. But no, it is, yeah. What is, who do we need? What do we need to make ourselves feel better? And when you do get in that energy, then the right people, the synchronous right people come your way. That right person, like you with that woman that came up, to you and started talking about energy, is because subconsciously you're already changing that energy about you, and that person picked up on it. And when you start doing that, about what you need, not what you want, that's when the magical things happen.
See, this is it. I've had it again happen to me recently. I don't deny it to anyone with TikTok. It was a very toxic environment. It was causing me to go downhill very, very fast, extremely too fast, to be honest. And I disappeared for about a week or two on it. And then I announced I'm not coming back. And I've got over there, at the time, I had nearly 5,000 followers. It's dropped quite fast. And I was just like, I'm not coming back. I know you want all your freebies and stuff like that, but this isn't what I need. You're actually draining my energy. And that shocked a lot of people because they were like, but surely you're enjoying the money. Surely. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I want the money, but I don't need the bad energy. And that always shocks people, that I actually put my energy and my children's energy and my husband's energy before money. And everyone is always very shocked at that. But it's like, for me, it is that need and want. It's figuring out what you need and what you want is very, very key to everything. Because our energy is telling us what we need, and so's our body. Everyone ignores what our body is telling us. It tells us what we need. Like, I know when I start getting aching back of my neck, I need to drink more water. I know that sounds really weird, but I now know that's what it's telling me. It's like, get that water down, you girl.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm in tune now with my body. So I know what it's telling me. Same as when I've done a day of full filming. I knew I was filming a lot tonight, so I haven't done a day of full filming. My eyes start to ache, and I know that's because of the ring light. It's too much in my eyes because as we know, with blue eyes, they don't deal well with light.
No.
At all. So it's like, I know I can't film more than a certain amount of hours with the ring light because it gives me a headache. And that's just me listening to my body, understanding my body, respecting my body as well. I want to use that term because need and respect come very close in hand with love. I sort of feel like them three things come very close. Closer than what people realise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I saw a comment come up. I actually saw that one come up as it come up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Emma says self-love,
Oh, bless
and
her.
Colette says hello.
Hello.
And wonderful ladies. If anyone's got any questions that you want to ask about energy, or anything else you might want to know, that please feel free to ask. We've still got a few minutes left, so if you want to ask anything, then please feel free, and we'll try and answer if we can, for you, and that. So, as you know, I do angel cards, oracle cards, and I do guided meditations. And each week I like to ask my guests whether they would like me to do a mini guided meditation or pull an angel oracle card. But when I know that my guests do things like this, then I like to ask them to do something. And there you go. Empress has got a deck of cards there for us.
Yes. So is there anything certain that you would like to know, my lovely? I'll do a free card draw.
Ooh.
Or
Just for okay, let's see what we got. Why do we get headaches before thunderstorms?
that's
Oh,
actually scientific. So this is proven through science. This is. So it's actually the pressure on our energy. So our electric magnet field, because thunderstorms have their own electric magnet field, it actually causes that to pressurize in, and that's what causes the headaches. I'm so sad to know that, and
no, but then that's the beauty, because people kind of like have to understand. They want to understand. When you can bring science into it, I think that validates so much. Uh,
yes,
so much of what we do, that people can't ignore that this is happening. I mean, it's like with all the Schumann resonances that are coming into Earth at the moment, with those energies. It's like the different hertz frequencies of music can affect your energy. So everything, so much is energy around us. Money is energy. That's literally,
yes,
it's the an actual physical pound. No, so we don't have notes anymore. A pound coin literally is just
energy. It's yeah.
energy that's become into a physical form.
This is a thing that I say. One of the things I always example is my curtains, and people are like, how are they energy? And I'm like, well, they're keeping light out, or they can keep light in. They can cause shadows. They can do loads of things which makes energy. Everything has electric magnetic field, which actually was proven by Newton that everything does. And this is where, when we talk about energy, it's actually scientific. So it's not something that isn't scientific. So when I do energy cleansing, all I'm doing is transferring some of my electric magnetic field to yours. The only difference is rather than mine be 150 volts of electric, mine's only 30 volts because I know how to control it better. I know not to expand it too much and stuff like that. So I think that's sort of, I never ever thought about talking about it scientifically before. But I think that is most probably the best way to explain it, is that way. It a bit like a light bulb, really, in a way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Emma says, absolutely loving this, so soothing. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. So I reckon with your card, I think it's what do we all need to, what does everyone watching this need to know?
So what does everyone watching this need to know? I'll do just one card. Perfect card. The Magician.
Ha, I love magic. That's my word for you, magic.
Yes. So this is perfect. And the reason why, for me, this is given two energies off. One is manifest anything. Put your energy out there to manifest anything you want. But it's also given me a bit of an energy of beware of the trickster. So a magician is a bit of a trickster. Everyone always misses that on this card, and that really frustrates me. But he's also a bit of a trickster. So just be careful of that trickster that's ready to take that energy. I think that is actually perfect. I'm loving that. Loving that.
No, it's brilliant that came out. So I'm also going to do a card. So
Yeah,
let's
I think we should
see.
have the same because they're so of different cards, and see what they pull out.
Yeah, exactly. So what do we all need to know from high school? Oh, okay.
All that jumped out.
That jumped out. We have got passion and pleasure. Savor your life.
I love that.
Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah.
And again, it ties in with the energy, passion and pleasure. When you savor your life and you have that passion and pleasure there, that changes your energy and gives you that vibrant energy that other people pick up on, and they start enjoying life as well. So you have that knock-on effect of bringing that in. Again, it's like magic. Uh,
Yes.
it's just that energy. So it's brilliant that card has come out, because passion and pleasure are energy.
They are. This is the thing. I love it. The two cards, which really, in a way, I think everyone needed, and that is the key to remember that passion and pleasure are very important. And I know what my girls are thinking. Not Garnet girls. Okay, I know my girls too well. Uh, it is very important. Oh, bless her. I'm hoping that was before I said about the garnet.
It was.
So it's sort of like, and this is the thing that I say to them all the time, manifest it. We need that pleasure in it. We need to find that fun in it. We need to find that love in it. And I just love that. They're both perfect cards to actually be with each other.
I know. It. I'm never surprised now, because it's always, the cards always come out for the energy of the show and what the show is about. And when me and my guests, we both do cards, there's always some kind of interlap over that, which I think is, absolutely brilliant. So, Empress, do you have any insights or thoughts or last words of wisdom to leave our viewers?
So my last words of wisdom will be is don't panic if you can feel the darkness. Don't worry about that. Okay. You can always find the light. You can always find the love. You can always find the self reassuring. There's no reason that you cannot find that. We all have it within us. It's within each and every one of us. And remember that you are loved no matter what.
Beautiful, beautiful words of wisdom there. And Emma says, little joke with Garnet. I'm going to ask you about that after the show because I'm curious now. So I hope everyone you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Empress, how do they do that? And what have you got coming up at the moment, or what's going on at the moment?
So you can do that best on my YouTube channel, which is Empress Sparkle. I put up loads of videos on there, so I post 6 times a week on there. I'm a bit naughty, really. I have got Rae's video coming up on Thursday. We had a excellent chat last week, absolutely brilliant. So I have got that coming up on Thursday. So I'd love for you to go over and see that. Also, I have got where I do a subscription live. So I do charge £15 a month, and basically I do 3 lives a week, Wednesday being Reiki, and then the other 2 either being spirit, oracle, or tarot cards.
Beautiful. And what I will do is I will put the links for those into the comments after the show, so people can literally just click on them and go straight to them, so they don't have to go searching for you from across the wide web.
Thank you, lovely.
Ah, you're welcome. And again, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. It's been absolutely brilliant there. And of course, if you feel more called to explore your path more deeply, then my Soul Path Discovery program is now open, which is a one-to-one transformational journey to support you in healing, gaining clarity, and aligning with your soul's true purpose. And if it resonates, then I'd love to invite you to a free Soul Path Discovery call. We'll connect over video. I'll put a couple of angel oracle cards, and you'll receive guidance and support wherever you are on your journey. And you'll also learn what's included in the program, and have a chance to ask any questions, so you can decide whether it's the right step for you. And in the program, we're doing past, future, healing, higher self. There's I've literally put everything into that. And of course, I do have a couple of incredible free gifts for you, designed to help you connect more deeply with your guides and angels and explore your future. So check out the link in the comments after the show to grab yours. And again, thank you everyone so much for watching. So Emma, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. And the other Emma, I'm so glad you enjoyed that, and Eric as well for taking the time to comment. That was absolutely brilliant. And of course, I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny, just like you. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified when the show goes live. On my other show, Oracle Card and Meditation Weekend Reset, which goes out live every Friday at 3:20 p.m. UK time, or I post new guided meditations. And remember, every time you like, share, comment any of my stuff, any of Empress's stuff, any of my guests' stuff, on social media, YouTube, wherever, you're part of that beautiful web of light that is, creating these beautiful energies that can inspire and help people and lift us all up. And you're part of that every time you subscribe, share, comment on any of our work we do. So thank you for those of you that do that. And of course, I look, you're welcome, Shawnee.
Bless her.
Yeah, it's beautiful to have you all here. And I look forward to you all joining me, same time, same place next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.